Hey ghosties, I'm Harley,
And I'm Candace.
and this is Haunted Through the Ages. Oh, you doing okay?
Yeah. I was like mid stretch as soon as the countdown finished. I was like, oh, dang, we're going.
You've got quite a headache today.
Oh my gosh. I mean, not being able to take decongestants is really, really starting to wear on me.
Yeah.
Like, this is my first actual experience of my allergies without decongestants.
Right.
And I was not aware. And I've been on blood pressure medication for years.
Mm-hmm.
But I was never made aware. Like, maybe if I read the paperwork, that may have,
Well, who does that?
Nobody. Don't say you do, because you don't.
No, nobody's reading the fine print.
The doctor gives it to you and tells you these are your side effects, and that's it. You don't need to read the paperwork from the pharmacy.
Yeah. You're like, I know I might die. It's fine.
But I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know that decongestants are bad for people that have high blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So, boss man was telling me, well, you have to take this brand that starts with a C. I have some of it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work.
No?
It doesn't work. And there's the cold and flu, and then there's this, there's that, and it's cord is something or another. Like, it starts with a C.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Like, it does it mellows it, if you know what I mean. Like, it takes the edge off.
But it's probably a smaller dose.
And it's just like, and it's my whole right side. Like, I can feel it, like in my right sinus, my eyeball, my temple, and now it's moved into my ear. And now it's like it's moving, and
your
it's
neck.
like it's all like I'm just and it's not my first rodeo. Like, I know that I can deal with it. Today's not nearly as severe as it was yesterday.
Yeah.
But my sister, gave me what the emergency room told her to take. So
okay.
And it with the Benadryl plus the ibuprofen, it's like a anti-inflammatory kind of situation.
Okay.
So, and I know Benadryl is a decongestant, but that one is a bit safer for me to take for some reason. I don't know. Probably because it's an antihistamine.
Yeah.
Not just a decongestant.
Right.
But I'm fine.
You've been a real trooper today because we've had a long day.
I'm fine.
It's been a very long day for everybody.
I'm pushing through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then Matt was out mowing the lawn the other day, and I'm standing out there with him. We're talking. He was like, it can't feel good for you to be out here. After I cut the grass on, it sure doesn't. It sure doesn't. But I'm not going to lock myself away in a cave, because I'm in pain. Like, I just deal with it.
Life still goes on.
Exactly. Like, it's not crippling, obviously, because I'm still going to work every day. But it's just annoying. It's almost it's the point of annoyance now. Yeah. Like, I'm just annoyed by it.
It's frustrating.
Yeah. Because I'm just not getting any relief.
Right. That sucks.
Almost how you were when you were, anti-breathing.
I was dying for months. Like, maybe I should go to the doctor now. It's probably a good idea.
Well, it doesn't help that I run my heat at night, but also I have my fan that blows I forgot what I was going to say.
Oh, we had technical difficulties.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi glitch, and I think it might have something to do with, the weather, and it's so doom and gloomy. So my Wi-Fi glitched, so it might be a little hiccup. But I was talking about my fan, and then I run my fan at night, and it blows directly on my face, which obviously doesn't help because I always wake up with a bloody nose. But I've done it since I was a kid. I've always had sinus issues, and I did, like I said, I've done that balloon sinus dilation thing that did absolutely nothing. Even my brother-in-law had a deviated septum that he had repaired and everything. He did the same thing, and he still battles with the same problems as me. Just constant sinus issues. I've never been tested for allergies. I always wanted to, but now I'm like afraid to because I've seen how they test people, and It's terrifying.
I had them so severely as a kid. They tested me on, like, they did the back thing with all the pricks.
No. Is it like one at a time?
Yes.
Do you remember? Oh, no, thank you.
Because they have to, whatever they're testing.
Yeah.
Like, they put a dot and then they write what it is. Like, so you have writing all down your back, and then they prick each one with whatever that is to see where, like, it starts welting up or if it gets red or whatever your reaction is.
Well, somebody told me it's like those when they do acupuncture.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it feels like that. Like, so you don't really feel the actual prick.
I was in elementary school for sure.
So,
like, I was very young, and I remember how they did it, but I don't remember there being pain or it upsetting me.
I think I'm more cautious about the effects afterwards of the itching. And
well, fortunately, you're like in the doctor's office, and if anything starts going sideways, like, they're gonna inject you with some crazy antihistamine to make sure, like, you're safe.
But... like, getting a mosquito bite drives me crazy because I can't stop itching it. Like, ugh, I don't know. You know, I just, you know, I'm here. Like, I'm battling through. I've gone 30 years already with it. So.
Yeah. What's another day? It's fine. You made it through another one. It's been a long day. So I work, you know, my usual 4 a.m. on this day of the week.
Yeah. My alarm went off at 4, and I'm like, you know what? No.
Sandy and I were already texting the group chat, like, wake up.
You guys. I don't even know how my phone, I think because my alarm went off, and once my alarm goes off, it turns focus off. So it was like buzzing all through the morning.
Oh, gosh.
I said that the sleeping Anna from Frozen was. Yeah.
She's just out.
Guys, I'm still sleeping over here. I'm blowing up my phone.
Oh, wow. Wake up. We're at work. And then I had it was like a 45-minute drive to rush from work to my nephew's birthday party.
So fun. Is he one?
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah. They had to push it off because they had stuff going on. So he's a month out from his first birthday today. Fine. So
he won't remember.
Yeah, they just did it a little late, but he is one now. So I was there like an hour and a half, and then I had to bail early to get home and shower and get ready and go to your birthday dinner.
These little fuckers peed on my hat.
Your hat?
Yeah. Asshole.
Oh, no.
That's what it is. It's like I can smell it in this corner, and I just picked my hat up.
Uh-oh.
Well, poor little baby Sonar was just neutered recently, and I think he may have sprayed a few times before it actually happened.
Yeah.
So I'm catching it as it's going. I'm doing my best, you know, trying to keep up with him. He's not the first male cat I've had. I was telling Matt the other day, like, out of 12 cats that we've owned in our lifetime, 6 of them have been boys.
Okay.
So we've had them all neutered, and he was the only one that I don't know why. I don't know why. I glitched. Like, do you want the cone of shame for him? Yeah, I should definitely get that. Yeah, because I didn't have not one cone on any of my cats when I brought them home.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
The girls were at my dream. I had them spayed. And she had it was like a pillow thing, like it was a blow up.
Yeah.
Which was more. No, see, you know what? You're an asshole.
He's like, oh, that smells familiar.
That's my butthole smell. Sorry.
That's funny.
So as soon as I brought him home, he recognized home, which I thought was really cute. Because
he's so happy.
He was curled up into a tiny little ball, in the carrier all the way into the back. Wouldn't even look at me, like looked straight forward, like he was just mad. His eyes were all glossed over because he was high as hell.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't move. Like I was moving his head, you know, trying to make sure he was still breathing. Like, are you alive? Because you got this cone on. Is it choking you? Like, I don't know. No, he was fine. And like, as soon as I got to the front door and I opened it up, he started crawling towards the front of the carrier. So it started shifting in my hand. Yeah. Like, whoa, wait.
Oh, he missed his friends.
I put it down and I opened the door and he came out and he was like a crocodile trying to get out of this cone, like just rolling all over the floor, trying to get this thing off. He came in here into our room here. 30 seconds later, he comes out naked. Well, that was $12 wasted.
That's funny.
I don't know why I thought that was going to be a good idea. Let's get him a cone. Oh, yeah, let's do that. Oh, no.
I love when an animal has surgery and the vet's like, They should keep the cone on for like 4 weeks. Are you on crack? If they keep it on for 4 minutes, I will pay you $1,000. Are you joking?
Like it's worth its money if he would have kept it on for 10. Like,
they shouldn't lick the wound. Okay, you have a talk with the dog about that. Sure.
Well, and every time I see him, like I stop him, but I mean, I sleep.
You sleep, you work. Like, there's only so much you can do.
Well, and that's why, like, you know, I took the day off, and everybody was like, "Oh my god, you know, you're just gonna sit home and rub your cat's paws." Yes, that's exactly what I'm going to do because he just had surgery, and if it was my child, I'd do the same thing. I don't care. These animals are my babies; they're my children.
Some people have hearts. Some don't.
It was so Misty without skipping a beat. I would. See, she's my people.
Exactly.
And then she told me that somebody else was our people too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
He's our people. Yep. He's our people. He's the cat people.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So, I'm not surprised by that.
I'm not.
Can you believe?
You can tell. Like, I can tell. I don't know if you can tell, but I can tell. Not necessarily cat people, but just animal people. Like, Joe immediately is an animal person.
Yeah. He's
Chris
a dog
immediately is an animal person.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was like, as soon as I told him, I'm like, look, can I just take the day off? You know, like, he's having surgery. It took me the amount of time it took me to drop him off and then come back to work. It was like 10 o'clock before I got back. Like, I don't want to pick him up from the vet and then just bring him home, drop him off, and then come to work.
Exactly.
And be just worried about what's happening. You know, he was like, no, don't even worry about it. Take the day off.
Right.
Like, you want me to take you off the schedule right now? I'll take you off. Stay home and take care of your baby.
Right.
And he's asked me, like, because he knew about, you know, my little potato hurt his little finger and everything. Yeah. And he's like, how's your grandson?
Oh.
Like, he's so caring and he remembers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's what I can respect about him. He's like, he remembers. I'm like, oh, what happened?
Oh, right. That's funny.
Like, wait, what happened? What do you know?
What do you know that I don't?
Did my daughter call you? Shit. Should I know something?
That's so funny.
Yeah, and then every day since Sonar's had a surgery, he's like, you know, how's your fur baby? How's your fur baby? He's so bad. He's so bad.
That's so funny. We talk baseball every time we talk.
I think that's
he
awesome.
brings it up every time, and I'm like, how'd it go? What's going on?
He remembers. I love that. You know,
Yeah.
Chris has a lot going on because he's like homestead, like, so he's got farm life. So there's a lot going on.
We should start calling him Farmer Chris.
Farmer Chris. Oh my God.
Honestly, I think he'd be into it.
He'd be okay.
He'd like it.
Yeah. He and my sister could talk for hours and related issues of homesteading.
It's been a long day.
Oh my gosh. I feel like it's been yeah.
I'm full and I'm tired and I want to go to bed. But first we have an episode.
You have something for us.
We do. And this is for Barb.
Okay.
So this was requested.
You or me?
By our friend Barb. That was me.
That was you.
And when I went to go the other day, finish my research for it, because I've been like out of it for a while.
Yeah.
I looked at the date. Like, I do all my research and like have my notes and stuff in Google Docs. And it'll show you the date on the document, like before you click on it. It was like February 8th or something. I'm like, oh, my first thought, I'm like, Barb, I'm so sorry.
We haven't neglected you. Promise.
I've been keeping her updated here and there, though. And I did tell her, I'm like, by the way, the research is done. Like, we're recording, I promise. I'm so sorry. She'll love to know. It's actually going to be a 2-parter. So this is only part 1 today. And then you guys will get part 2.
Whenever.
I'm sure soon. I have to finish my research. But she requested the Lizzie Borden house.
Stop.
Yes.
I'm so excited because I was literally starting to look at research for that.
I'm so glad you didn't.
Well, I started, looking at documentaries and watching some stuff and trying to get some ideas and that going. That I knew that you want to do it, but we never really discussed if you were actually going to. So it was like, because we're really good at communicating. I need you to
naturally
get to my thoughts, please.
As much as we communicate, you would think we'd be better about important things, and we're not.
No.
We just assume we read each other's minds, and it's fine. Turns out we don't. Who knew?
Here's the thing.
Who knew?
Wait. when we were discussing about, because we went out to dinner tonight, so it was like we're all having this conversation about, like, okay, this is what we're gonna do, and then they moved on from the conversation, and I stopped listening, and out of nowhere, I had my earbuds super loud in my ear, and just I'm playing on my phone, and out of nowhere, I didn't realize we didn't know what time we were all gonna meet up, so they're having their own conversation right here in front of me. Yeah, Harley and Sandy are having their own conversation. And then just like I have Tourette's, I scream at them, "What time?" Like they're half away across the building from me and they're directly in front of
3 feet away. What time? We both jump and look at her, and immediately, like, she shamed herself before we even could. She goes, "I'm so sorry. That was so loud."
So loud.
What is going on? Calm down. We had no idea.
Like I'm being attacked.
It was out of nowhere. I'm not joking. We were a full minute and a half into a new conversation.
I stopped listening and thought we were still having a solid conversation about when we were going to meet up. What time?
Just shouted at us.
That was a little loud, wasn't it? Reel it in, Candace. Reel it in.
I couldn't stop thinking about it the rest of the day. I was dying. It was so funny.
Yeah. So it was.
Well, I'm glad you didn't do.
I'm glad I didn't too.
That research.
Because there was a lot.
That's the thing. That's the thing. And I think that's why it's taken me so long, because it's such an overwhelming. Yes. So I think here's what I'm going to do.
There's so many different stories on so many different platforms. Like, it's a lot.
You don't know what is true and what's not.
Right.
So I think what I'm going to do today, and probably I'm assuming next week, my part 2 will come out unless we decide to get Candace something out. We'll see how it goes. That's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
I did call you out. It's okay. It was out of love.
Like I'm a procrastinator or something.
Yeah, not you. Never you. So I'm going to go through my research in part 1 and 2 on what I could find online. However, like I was listening to different podcasts and stuff, and there were some that had people who have actually researched this for like years.
Wow.
And years. And they've written books. Mm. So I think I'm going to do these 2 episodes, and then maybe a little further down the road, do a revisit on books, because I do want to do a deeper dive into the evidence that points to her being guilty and the evidence that does not. Because that's one of the things that's really interesting about this case that we'll see, is that everything is circumstantial. Mm-hmm. And that's why she was acquitted, which, if you didn't know, spoiler alert.
I don't want to say like, oh, I love a serial killer. Like I love her. Like, and but she's so interesting to me.
She's very interesting. And it's circumstantial. And like they couldn't, even the circumstances surrounding her, and something I didn't realize.
I kind of want to have her back on this though. Like, what was Dad really doing?
And we'll get into theories next week.
Right.
But it's really interesting, even looking into, and we'll talk about it, like where she stood in higher society. I don't want to say high society, because she wasn't like what you picture. Right. But she comes from a very wealthy family. Andrew Borden had a lot of money. And to see how the people in the town reacted to her, who also had money, how people across the country, because this was the trial of the century, and how other people reacted to her because she had money and because she was a woman, is very interesting. So I think we'll do a deeper dive in the future too, and really get into the evidence and the case details, like with transcripts and stuff. So it'll be good. So it's been quite a day. I'm all fucking worked up. I can't even function right now.
It's the longest day.
We've had a lot happen today. I should have been drinking. It's fine.
No kidding.
I'm joking.
We pick a restaurant that doesn't serve alcohol. I don't think so.
Oh,
I looked. I looked. He asked, "What do I want to drink?" Well, margarita isn't an option, so give me a Diet Coke. Shit.
Cut this out.
Glory be.
Praise be. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Anyway, moving on. They're going to be confused when they hear the hallelujah. So,
That's where you'll know. Okay, that's the part.
I just had to cut a lot of stuff out, so sorry. That maybe that will be for Patreon one day.
Well, you don't know.
This is not for public consumption. Okay. So.
Not because of my embarrassment. Let's just get that fundament.
No, it was mine.
Candace
having
doesn't. I don't have that
problem. I'm barely functioning. So, Lizzie Andrew Borden was born on July 19th, 1860, to parents Sarah Anthony Morse and Andrew Jackson Borden in Fall River, Massachusetts.
I love that she's named after her dad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And she's most well known for being accused of brutally axe murdering her father and stepmother later in life. Do you remember how old she was?
No, but I remember the song.
We'll get there. There's a second verse, which I didn't realize.
Oh.
Yeah, it's fun. We'll do that next week.
It's fun. Says the serial killer lover.
It's interesting. Put it that way. It's interesting. Because I feel like when people hear about Lizzie Borden, they assume she was like a teenager, like relatively young.
I would put her in her 20s.
She was 32.
Okay. I did not know
and
that.
Her sister, Emma, who you hear a lot about, was 42.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah. I thought definitely younger.
Yeah. I think people assume that. Like, I know I did. And I'm like, dang, I forgot she was that old. Not that that's old. Let me be clear. We're youthful.
So high into the 30s.
We celebrated Candace's 29th again tonight.
30. I'm turning 30.
Oh.
I turned 29 in January. I go back. January 1st, I start over.
I start texting you happy birthday on January 1st.
New Year's Eve is New Year's for Candace.
So funny.
New life.
So, ironically, the family coat of arms, because they were rich, so of course they had one, prophetically bore a lion holding a battle axe. It's kind of creepy.
That is a little bit sketchy.
Weird. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The Borden Ooh. That was a rough start. Sorry. The Borden murders and trial would go on to receive widespread publicity in the United States, and they've remained one of the most popular and most depicted crimes in films. It's theatrical. I didn't know the word for a second. I'm fine. I'm pulling it together.
She's reading it like Candace does. Everybody's used to me fucking up. They're not used to Harley being perfect.
I know, right?
He is not.
Shocker. Theatrical productions, literary works, and as most of us know, children's songs and rhymes. So Andrew Borden was of English and Welsh descent. That's a lot of words.
You said it the same twice.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought I screwed it up.
You didn't.
Okay, thanks. And grew up in a very modest household, and he actually struggled financially in young adulthood despite being a descendant of a wealthy and influential family. When Andrew Borden started working, he was a carpenter for the company Southard Miller, and eventually he left to manage a property owned by his uncle. In addition, he began a business partnership with William Almy, I think, a unique venture that involved real estate details, furniture making, and undertaking. Which,
weird.
If anyone's not familiar, an undertaker preps a body after it's dead. Although there's no evidence showing that Borden embalmed the corpses, the business did provide coffins, funeral clothing, and burial assistance. And there's also a rumor that goes around that he would cut off the feet of the corpses to force them to fit into smaller coffins to save money.
Ew.
Yeah. He was he preferred the word frugal. Apparently, when you're in the house today, if you say he was cheap, he gets pissed off and his ghost gets all angry. Rumor has it. So
allegedly.
He's frugal.
Okay. Mm-hmm. He's a miser.
Yeah. To keep his fortune increasing, Borden foreclosed, undercut, overcharged, and hoarded without flinching. He was all about the Benjamins. He went on to own commercial property and was president of the Union Savings Bank and a director of the Durfee Safe Deposit and Trust Company. At the time of his murder, his estate was valued at $300,000, which as of this year is worth about $10.7 million.
Holy shit.
So he was loaded. And just a little side fact, Lizzie was the third child born to Sarah and Andrew. She actually had two older sisters, Emma, who we'll hear a lot about. And she also had a sister named Alice. However, Alice died of hydrocephalus right before her second birthday. But Lizzie, like I said, who was 32, and her sister Emma, who was 42, grew up attending the Central Congregational Church, and she was even a Sunday school teacher there. Now, if you're in the area, this is still an active church that you can attend today. And when Barb first suggested this case to me, she said she watched on some documentary or show, an episode of something, that the church is actually haunted by her as well.
Wow.
So I did look into it, and I couldn't find anything about it. But maybe, if you guys go to a service, maybe something will happen. Lizzie was also involved in religious organizations such as the Christian Endeavor Society, where she served as secretary-treasurer. She was a member of the Women's Christian Temperance Union and the Ladies' Fruit and Flower Mission. So she sounds very wholesome. She sounds like a sweet girl. And she was much more social and outgoing than Emma, who at this point, Emma had really just given up on like finding love and living her own life. Because something that was pointed out to me when I was like listening to episodes on this and stuff and doing research, they were both considered spinsters. And they were past spinster age.
Yeah.
Which that hit pretty hard.
I've read about her a lot. But my most vivid memory of the history of knowing her, the movies and stuff, was when Christina Ricci played her.
Oh.
She was amazing.
She's good. I didn't know she did. I have to find it.
Yeah.
I could see that immediately.
Yeah.
Because she can do a creepy.
She had crazy eyes. Like,
she has very good crazy eyes.
Yeah. So it was like spot. That's like, so anytime I hear about Lizzie Borden, that's what I picture. Okay. And I know that she actually was older than what Christina Ricci was when she played it. So like, yeah, she looked older. I don't know if she was older, but she was aged, because we're preserved better than they were back then.
Absolutely.
They didn't have all of the cosmetics and all of the stuff. So at 30 years old or whatever she was, she probably looked like she was in her 40s.
Right.
But yeah, Christina Ricci did it. She was bad.
Oh, that sounds really good. I have to find it. So Lizzie's birth mother, Sarah, died in 1863 when she was only 39. And Lizzie was just 3 years old at the time.
Wow.
Yeah. 3 years after her death, Andrew remarried a woman by the name of Abby Durfee Gray, who is our second victim, along with Lizzie's father. Despite there being absolutely no evidence that Abby was anything but kind and loving toward Lizzie and Emma, oh my gosh. She just showed me a picture of Christina Ricci in the movie. She looked so good.
So good.
What year was that?
It was...
Looks more recent.
Hang on.
Not recent, but...
Kick me over to YouTube. 1 second. 2015.
Oh, wow. It's pretty recent.
Yeah. And you will be able to find it on Amazon, YouTube.
Oh, cool. I'll definitely go find it. Is it considered a horror?
Yes.
I can't watch it by myself.
No, you can.
Are you sure? Me?
Well, yeah, because you have already done the research. So it plays along with the research.
Okay. We'll see.
Don't be a chicken. I'll put it on the TV. We'll watch it here.
Okay. So, despite there being no evidence that Abby was anything but kind and loving toward Lizzie and Emma, Lizzie would later tell the court that she called Abby Mrs. Borden. Lizzie believed that Abby only married her father for his money, and it may be suggested through evidence we see later that maybe Lizzie was just a little mad because she wanted her father's money. Possibly. Otherwise tight-fisted, Andrew Borden, despite that whole situation, he doted on his younger daughter. Over the years, he gave Lizzie expensive gifts like a diamond ring, a sealskin coat, and even sent her on a grand tour of Europe. And Lizzie, when she was younger, worshipped her father. She even gave him her high school ring to wear as a token of her affection. That one feels a little strange to me. Is it just me? That feels weird. Oh my gosh, what a creepy bitch. That's a good movie. She looks
Cole
so
Hauser's
scary.
in it too.
Who is he?
Yeah, that's Rip.
I know it's Rip, but who's
I don't know. I stopped looking because
why? Well, now I have to know.
Now I don't.
Who's Cole Hauser in the movie? Wait. Are you kidding me? Was he like the uncle?
I don't know.
Guys, we have to watch. Let's field trip. We're watching it all together.
Lizzie Borden Chronicles. That's what it's called.
All right. Well, we're pausing to get information.
Was Charlie Siringo?
What the hell is that?
I don't know. You're doing the research.
Well, his name didn't come up in research.
It's the main character.
What?
Maybe he was a cop or something. I don't know. It says,
maybe it's from like the perspective of a detective.
This says Officer Leslie Trotwood, Dylan Taylor.
Are you kidding me? Look at him.
What a beautiful specimen of a man.
Babe. Oh my gosh. Well, we'll be watching that very soon. Anyway.
He was a detective, bounty hunter, and agent for Pinkerton National Detective Agency during the late 19th and early 20th centuries.
Hot.
Charles Angelo Sartagna.
Okay. As time went on, there were signs that the father-daughter relationship had become strained, and it seemed that his money was a big part of that. Despite his wealth, Andrew refused to pay for things like indoor plumbing, electricity, and a telephone, and Lizzie and Emma were both pretty pissed about that. Which, to be fair, so would I. Most of the rich people in their town had it already, and...
You're kind of rude.
Andrew was just not willing to pay for it.
Because he was a miser.
So, in addition to the things I've already mentioned, he also paid for his daughter's education, and he hired a live-in maid to help around the home. And that maid was a 25-year-old live-in Irish woman named Bridget Sullivan. However, I will refer to her as Bridget throughout this, but Lizzie, I think it was mostly Lizzie, maybe Emma did it too, but I think a lot of it was Lizzie. She called her Maggie, and that's because the girls used to have a maid whose name was Maggie, and they refused to learn Bridget's name.
Okay.
So they just called her Maggie.
Okay.
Which...
I remember there being a maid in the movie, but I don't remember what they called her.
It's just rude. Like, learn her name. She's one person.
It's really not even hard to learn.
Bridget. Not difficult.
No.
So rude. But I will call her Bridget throughout this. Bridget is the maid. So according to Bridget's testimony during the later trial, Lizzie and Emma had a very strained relationship with their parents, and they even rarely ate meals with them, which for back in the day was strange. And just, I have a little backstory here so we can kind of see the family's relationship leading up to the murders, because it's reported that they were really going through it right before. So in May of 1892, keep in mind the murders happened in August, Andrew reportedly killed multiple pigeons in his barn with a hatchet, believing that they carried diseases. And Lizzie had recently built a roost for these pigeons, and it's been commonly recounted that she was really upset over him killing them, though the intensity of her anger has often been disputed. So,
I'm not mad at her for it.
I'd also be pissed.
Yeah, I'm not mad at her for it.
Mm-hmm. Another family argument in July of 1892 prompted both sisters to take an extended vacation in New Bedford, Massachusetts. They returned to Fall River only a week before the murders, and Lizzie chose to stay in a local rooming house for 4 days before returning to the Borden residence. So she obviously wasn't over what had gone down.
Mm-hmm.
And tensions were also growing in the family over Andrew's use of his rental estate and his money again. The girls felt that he was much more generous with his wife than he was with them. And Abby's sister, so the stepmom's sister, received a house from Andrew Borden as a gift. Seeking peace with his daughters, Andrew gave them a house of greater value to rent out, but they still were not happy. And I've heard a couple different things. I've heard that Andrew just gave it to them, but I've also heard that they bought it from him for $1. I don't know what's true.
Well, maybe for tax purposes.
Or, like, it's technically a sale. Yeah. I mean, people do that nowadays. Where they sell it, like... They're giving it to their family member and selling it for $1.
I think I bought a car off of one of my family members, sister, parents, I don't know. But, so it didn't really... They were giving it to me, but they had to put a dollar amount on the title.
Right.
So it was like $1.
Right.
Yeah.
So it definitely could be that. So then, a few weeks before the murders, they sold the property back to Andrew for $5,000, which today is $178,000.
Jeez.
And this was actually twice what the house was even worth. And a dressmaker later remembered making the mistake of referring to Abby as Lizzie's mother, causing Lizzie to snap. Don't call her that to me. She's a mean thing and we hate her.
Oh.
That dressmaker is probably like, bitch, I'm just trying to hem your dress. Sorry.
I'm so sorry.
My bad. So on Tuesday...
Also, nobody told me.
Never make that mistake again. On Tuesday, August 2nd, 1892, strange things began to happen in the Borden house. Mr. and Mrs. Borden and even Bridget suffered severe vomiting. Lizzie later claimed she felt a little queasy the next day, but that was it. Emma, however, was on vacation in Fairhaven and she was spared. Over Andrew's objections, Abby, quote, waddled across the street to Dr. Bowen's to tell him that she feared they had been poisoned. However, when he learned that the previous night's dinner had been warmed over fish, the doctor laughingly sent her home. He was like, use your husband's money and get yourself proper refrigeration or ice or something. Like, you can't eat warmed over fish. You're going to get sick.
But let me just tell you, because I am so aware of the smell of warm fish.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking disgusting.
Yeah. Can you imagine eating it?
God. And then they have something that, like, that salt cod that, like, gets super sour. Oh, they eat it in, like, Alaska or whatever they did. Or not Alaska. I don't think it's in the United States. I think it's, like, overseas somewhere in a different country where they just keep it in a barrel and just let it ferment. And and then they eat it. It was like, ugh.
And they wonder why they're throwing up. And she's like, somebody's poisoning us. He's like, girl, you're eating spoiled food.
No.
So then John Vinicum Morse, this was Lizzie and Emma's maternal uncle, so their mother's brother, visited the Borden home the night before the murders. And Andrew invited him to stay for a few days to discuss business matters. This led to speculation that their conversation may have aggravated an already tense situation, particularly about property transfer. But again, nothing makes sense here because I've also seen sources say the reason he came to do this was because him and Andrew still had a very good relationship. So we will dig more into that. But that same evening, Lizzie visited Miss Alice Russell, and Miss Russell later testified that their conversation had been unsettling, to say the least. Lizzie had spoken of burglary attempts on the Borden home, of threats against her father from unknown enemies, and she said, I feel as if something was hanging over me that I cannot throw off. Father has so much trouble. Though Miss Russell tried to reassure her, Lizzie left on an ominous note, and she said, quote, I am afraid somebody will do something. Weird. Strange thing to say 12 hours before they're killed. So the next morning, which was Thursday, August 4th, Bridget rose at about 6, and I had one source, and I did not write it in here, but I want to give them credit, so I'm going to link it below. But a ton of this information that I got here, as far as like timeline and court evidence, I got from this one source, so I want to give them credit. A lot of this is from them, so thank you. So Bridget rose at about 6 and lit the breakfast fire. Around 7, the elder Bordens and their guest, which would be Uncle John, sat down to eat in the dining room. Lizzie did not appear downstairs until 9, and by then, Mrs. Borden had begun dusting the downstairs, and Uncle John had left the house to visit relatives across town. Lizzie told Bridget that she didn't feel well enough to eat breakfast, but sat in the kitchen sipping coffee. About 20 after 9, Andrew, too, left the house, setting off downtown to oversee his investments. Perhaps 10 minutes later, Abby Borden went upstairs to tidy the guest room, and Bridget went outside to begin washing the downstairs windows. And only Lizzie and Abby, her stepmother, remained in the house. Abby was never seen alive again. Perhaps because of the oppressive heat, Andrew broke his long-established routine by coming home for lunch at 11:15, an hour and a half earlier than usual. Bridget later testified that she had just begun scrubbing the inside of the windows when she heard him struggling with the front door lock and let him in. Lizzie, by her own admission, was supposedly coming down the stairs from the second floor where Abby's body was already laying. And at the Borden trial the following year, the prosecution would produce witnesses who testified that Abby's body, lying on the guest room floor, would be clearly visible from the staircase, while the defense claimed it was almost completely obscured by a bed. However, I will say that everyone that has been to that house and stood on the staircase will look over into the bedroom at the spot where Abby would have been laying and said, yeah, that's a clear shot. You would see a dead body right there in front of you. So, sketchy. So, Andrew asked Lizzie about Abby's whereabouts, according to Bridget, and Lizzie told him that Abby had received a note asking her to attend to a sick friend. So she's not home right now. She took off. She got a note. So Bridget finished her windows and climbed the back stairs to her attic room to rest at about 11. Because keep in mind, she was also still sick. Like, she was still actively vomiting, apparently, at this time from, the spoiled food her employers gave her.
Yeah.
But apparently it was very important that she go wash the windows in the hot August heat that, the fish spoiled in.
It was the fish.
It was the fish.
Definitely the fish.
So Bridget goes upstairs to the attic to lay down. Andrew lays down on the parlor sofa to take a nap. And within minutes, Bridget recalled that she was awakened by Lizzie yelling, "Come down quick. Father's dead. Somebody came in and killed him." They came in and killed him. Weird wording.
Somebody.
So shortly after he began resting, Andrew Borden was suddenly and violently attacked in the face with a hatchet. He suffered 11 blows, which rendered him nearly unrecognizable. Not only was his skull crushed in the attack, but one of his eyes had been split in half and his nose had been severed.
Oh, God.
The thing I keep reading, and this is disgusting, but everyone compares his face basically to like hamburger meat because it was just
smashed,
obliterated. Yeah. So shortly after the police, aka Cole Hauser, arrived. Just saying. Sorry. Lighten it up a little bit. Bridget and a neighbor ventured upstairs for a sheet to cover Andrew up. Because, back in the day where they're just like, forget evidence. We don't want people seeing this. That's shameful.
Right.
Let's go get a sheet. And that is where they found 64-year-old Abby Borden, who had been struck 19 times with a hatchet. Her quote, plump. Her weight is a very big deal in this story, apparently, because she was over 200 pounds.
Wow.
So, and the reason that becomes relevant later, long story short, in the trial, is because anyone in the house would have heard her body hit the floor, in especially an older house that's not, top notch. So, anyway, her plump body lay face down in a pool of blood, her head and neck a bloody mass. It's probably supposed to be a mess. And also another quick note here. When you guys see that, because I'm sure if you're into true crime at all, you've seen the photo of, I'm sure, both Andrew and Abby. And in Abby's photo where she's laying, it looks like she's on her knees. Like, not to be crass, but basically like face down, ass up kind of position. because it looks like her butt's in the air. However, when the police arrived, because again, back in the day, they were all about, not being crass. So what they did, there were so many petticoats under the dresses they wore. The police pulled her dress down and tucked it under her shoes to keep her covered.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the petticoats that are piled up, but she was actually laying flat. It's just kind of an optical illusion.
Okay.
So I always wondered about that. I'm like, how in the world did she manage to stay on her knees and not fall over? But that's
the petticoat.
Yes, that's all it is, in case anyone's wondering. So according to the forensic investigation, Abby was facing her killer at the time of her attack. She was first struck on the side of her head with a hatchet, which cut her just above the ear, causing her to turn and fall face down on the floor and creating contusions on her nose and forehead. Her killer then struck her multiple times, delivering 17 more hits to the back of her head and killing her. So keep in mind, this is all happening when Andrew's out of the house. So when Andrew returned at 10:30, his key failed to open the door, so he knocked. Bridget went to unlock the door but found it jammed, and she said that she cursed. And she testified that when that happened, she could hear Lizzie laughing at the top of the stairs. Or it sounded like it was coming from the top of the stairs, even though she couldn't see her. This was considered significant as Abby was already dead by this time and her body, like I mentioned, would have been visible to anyone on the second floor. However, Lizzie later denied being upstairs and testified that her father had asked her where Abby was, like I mentioned previously, to which she replied, "Oh, she had a summons. She's visiting a friend. She's not here right now," which we know is bullshit. So Bridget stated that she then removed Andrew's boots and helped him into his slippers before he laid down on the sofa, a detail contradicted by the crime scene photos, which show Andrew wearing boots. So that's a little sketchy. Those first on the scene noted that Lizzie remained remarkably calm throughout the ordeal, and one woman claimed that there were tears in her eyes, but several others testified that Lizzie's eyes were dry and her hands steady. That is the sign of a sociopath. Just saying. And I will say right now, and one of the reasons I want to look into this so much more is because I am not convinced she did it.
Also, can we draw attention to the fact that my eyes are constantly dry and my hands are calm?
I'm alone with her.
And
SOS.
SOS.
Help. SOS. That is true. You fucking lunatic. Oh my gosh.
Maybe she suffered from map.fingerprint like I have, the made up word that the eye doctor used about my eyes.
Oh my gosh. Maybe she did.
That's what they said I have. And I said, I think at this point you guys are just making things up. I Googled it. It's an actual thing.
Meanwhile, there's me who is always crying and was literally physically shaking an hour ago. It takes nothing for me. And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
I had to put eye drops in my eyes. And you were like, let's go mess with Doug.
Go convince Doug that you're sobbing.
You're like, we need to take.
Although I will say, you did cry tonight at dinner.
I teared.
She cried.
Did not.
They didn't fall, but they were
That
there.
Is the sign of a cry, is when tears fall.
No, because Sandy's birthday gift was very sweet, and you did tear up. So
reading that, it's like, oh, why do you make me read things?
We knew the tears were coming as soon as she just slapped her hand over her eyes. It was very nice.
I mean, yeah, I'm like, no, blink it away.
Don't let it fall.
You know what? Same.
I'm struggling. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Tis the season.
I'm just a hot mess.
You're so hot.
Oh, thank you. You're not.
It's been noticed.
So anyway, Lizzie was acting like nothing was wrong. She was just going with the flow. And this is where things start to get pretty wonky with Lizzie, because her initial answers to the police officer's questions were at times strange and contradictory. Lizzie has 75 stories here. No wonder nobody can keep shit straight. She didn't even know what was going on. So initially, she reported hearing a groan or a scraping noise or possibly a distress call before entering the house, which would mean that Lizzie was outside. However, like we mentioned, Bridget had heard her upstairs laughing just before this. And then just 2 hours later, Lizzie told police that she had heard nothing and entered the house, not realizing that anything was wrong. At this point, she's, oh yeah, I saw Abby. She left to go visit a friend. No, I was outside and I heard weird things. No, I was outside. I didn't hear anything. Then she's at the top of the stairs. Lizzie, girl, what is going on? We have no idea. She also stated that she thought that Abby had returned home from visiting the friend and asked if someone could go upstairs and look for her. So this must have been before they actually found Abby's body.
Mm-hmm.
Where is that Abby? Mrs. Borden, where could you be? This sketchy bitch. We don't know. So at this point, Bridget and a neighbor, Mrs. Churchill, were halfway up the stairs, their eyes level with the second floor, when they looked into the guest room and saw Abby lying face down on the floor. So most of the officers who interviewed Lizzie reported that they disliked her attitude, quote unquote. Some said that she was too calm and poised, but despite her behavior and changing alibis, she was not checked for bloodstains. Police did search her room, but it was a cursory inspection. And at the trial, they admitted to not doing a proper search because Lizzie just wasn't feeling well. She'd been through a lot, so there's no reason to search the crimes. That's why she lost it. It was the menopause.
It's the menopause.
So they were subsequently criticized. I was going to say critiqued. I guess I could. Criticized for their lack of diligence. It took the police 36 hours to do a proper search of the home, while Lizzie's still living there, and Bridget and Emma came home. So this is no longer a crime scene. This is just home where people can do whatever they want, and the police are like, we'll get around to it. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's okay. So when they did finally search, in the basement, or the cellar, I guess, police found 2 hatchets, 2 axes, and a hatchet head with a broken handle. So the handle was not there. The hatchet head was suspected of being the murder weapon, as the break in the handle appeared fresh, and the ash and dust on the head appeared to have been deliberately applied to make it look as if it had been in the basement for some time. However, none of these tools were removed from the house at the time. So by Saturday, which was the day of the funerals, the police felt that they had little choice but to arrest Lizzie. She alone, they felt, had the opportunity to commit the murders. They found it hard to believe that anyone could have passed through the house unseen by Lizzie, who claimed to have been on the first floor while Abby was being murdered above. And this is where I mention, as she would have been hit and Mrs. Borden hit the floor, Abby's 210-pound body would have crashed down, and without a sound, like, that's just not going to happen. If you fall in your house, somebody hears you, and they're probably laughing.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I'm laughing.
Yes, we know. So now we're getting into a little more about Lizzie's own contradictory answers to police questions. So this is just adding to the list we already have about her whereabouts when her father was killed. And she was giving different answers to different interrogators. So she also said she was in the backyard, in the loft, getting a piece of iron for sinkers because it was said that she was planning to go fishing later that day. Or she was up in the loft eating pears.
I can see that.
Well, here's the thing. The closed barn loft would have been so insufferably hot on an August day that few would have visited it voluntarily, much less lingered to eat pears.
But you can do some pretty shady shit for a good fruit.
I don't think I would for a fruit, but for a Klondike bar.
I mean,
I do a lot.
Cool you off a little bit.
Furthermore, An officer who claimed to have been the first to examine the loft testified that the dust on the floor was undisturbed by footprints or trailing skirts. So nobody had been up there.
Then she remembered she wasn't actually there. Okay.
No, she ate the pear down the street. It was fine. There were pears involved.
Yeah. She's definitely not in the loft because it's hot in there. Like, she opened the door and it was so hot she had to leave.
Yeah. She ate her pears under the shade tree.
Yeah.
In Lizzie's favor was the fact that she had been neat and clean when first seen after the murders. The police were certain that the murderer would have been covered with blood. However, in later years, medical experts would examine the trajectories of spurting blood and argue otherwise. But belief in a blood-drenched killer persisted. You know, the 1800s of it.
Yeah, you definitely have to be covered in blood in order to commit a murder.
Right.
It wasn't you if you're not drenched.
Exactly. Duh. Or if, God forbid, you changed your clothes. Saying.
And that they didn't do a full examination of the crime scene.
So, though puzzled by Lizzie's cleanliness, police were certain that they had found the murder weapon. Like I mentioned, lying in a box of dusty tools and stored high on a chimney jog in the basement was a hatchet head. It was neither rusty nor old, though it had been freshly rubbed in ashes, perhaps to make it appear so. Moreover, here's a little more about the handle. It was removed, and they think that maybe the blood was soaking the handle, which, you know, it would. Like, you're not removing blood from wood, so you gotta get rid of it. So on August 9th, 2 pharmacists from Smith's drugstore testified that Lizzie had been shopping for poison on the afternoon before the murders. Sketchy.
Yeah.
She had not asked for arsenic, which apparently at the time was just sold over the counter. You could just go get some good old arsenic.
I mean, why not?
The husbands that would be dead today, the numbers would be insane. I mean, I know you can probably get the shit online. I don't know. I've never looked. But, I mean, you could just run into Walgreens and be like, hey, can I get some arsenic? Like, sure.
I mean, I'm no, like, you know, doctor of
drugs,
anything, anything. But you don't even need arsenic anymore. Just get some freaking good old bleach and ammonia. Call it a day.
She's never planned it, I promise.
No, but I know that I'm very cautious about when I'm cleaning because I will literally clean my entire house in bleach. So I'm very, very cautious about what other chemicals I'm using when I clean.
Yeah.
Only because my mom has terrified me growing up that you can't mix chemicals. So like I'm very, very cautious about what I'm doing. And I know those two are not a good combination to...
What is it? Bleach and what?
Bleach and ammonia.
Oh, okay. Scary.
Yeah, so you can't
That'll kill you.
Windex with bleach. Like, you can't clean your house with, you know, if you're cleaning windows with Windex, don't start cleaning with bleach too, because the combination of the two will take you out. That's why they took, like, a lot of window cleaners are ammonia free now.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Wonder how many people it took before they made that move.
You know what?
I'm just curious.
Quite a few, I'm assuming. They were like, something's wrong here.
I don't know. They're all just cleaning. What's happening?
Bent over the tub, out.
Good Lord.
I can't laugh at that as I'm laughing at it.
Anyway. So, instead, she asked for the more lethal... I don't even know how to say that word. So we're going to go with hydrogen cyanide, claiming she needed it to clean her sealskin coat, which was a gift from her father.
Ew.
Yeah. On the stand, Lizzie steadfastly denied the pharmacist's story. She even denied knowing where this particular store was, though it had been there for 14 years on a street not 5 minutes from the house in which she had lived since childhood. She was denied the purchase, fortunately. But yeah, she's like, I have no idea where that is.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
The one in Fall River, the one place you can go for any of your medicines.
No idea.
No, I've never heard of it.
What are you talking about?
Never heard of it.
Is that a thing?
So, Regardless, the victims' stomachs were removed during autopsies and tested for poison because of the mysterious illness that had stricken the household, but no poison was found. Some people believe that the discrepancies in Lizzie's story might have been explained by hysteria or grief. However, she displayed neither of those things. So, on August 5th, a reporter at the crime scene for the Providence Journal noted, quote, "She wasn't the least bit scared or worried. Most women would faint at seeing their father dead. For I never saw a more horrible sight. She is a woman of remarkable nerve and self-control."
Oh,
I feel like that's untrue. If she's guilty, I don't think that's a lot of self-control.
Also, if her father is, not being the father of the year, why is she going to be super sad that somebody took him out?
Yeah, we'll see. So, such self-control seemed unnatural in an age where women were expected to swoon, and many people were alarmed by it. Could you imagine if we still lived in a world today where something happened and you had to swoon? Or that was just normal? That's wild.
I'm just trying to figure out what swoon means. I always thought it was like you're smitten with someone. Okay.
Like that.
Okay.
I love how you know exactly what that meant. So the Reverend Mr. Buck, who was Lizzie's minister, reassured her champions that her calmness is the calmness of innocence.
Absolutely.
Okay. Her lawyer, Mr. Jennings, sought to explain away her inconsistent... This is just as good as what Doug said. Sought to explain away her inconsistent answers by noting that, quote, she was having her monthly illness.
God bless.
That's what I'm going to start calling it. I'm having my monthly illness right now. Don't talk to me.
Don't talk to me. I could literally take you out.
I love how anytime a woman did anything back in the day, they're like, it's her period. She's fine. She's on the rag.
The monthlies.
It's fine. She'll get over it. So apparently he thought that was happening on the day of the murders.
Absolutely.
How he knew, don't know. Thereby evoking embarrassed nods of understanding.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah.
Sure.
We got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that'll make anyone crazy. Yeah.
The women are like, you have no fucking idea.
Doing it right now.
Despite her monthly illness
God.
And immense public support, the judge ordered her arrest, and off she went to a jail in Taunton. Yet Lizzie wasn't confined to a cell in jail. She spent much of her time in the matron's room. She had flowers that graced the prison's windowsill, lace-edged pillow slips brought in by Emma, and meals which Lizzie had sent over from Taunton's best hotel. So,
my girl.
Vacation. I'm like, can I go?
My girl.
That sounds nice. Just a couple days. So in the preliminary hearing before Judge Blaisdell, began in late November, reporters from more than 40 out-of-town newspapers attended. Police held back huge crowds while ladies and gentlemen from Fall River's elite filed into the courtroom to claim the best seats. During this, a new piece of evidence damaging to Lizzie's cause was introduced. She had turned over to the police a spotlessly clean, fancy blue dress that she claimed she wore on the day of the murders. Women in New England were surprised. No one wore party dresses of, it's called, I think, bengaline, a partly woolen fabric around the house in the August heat. Nobody would wear that, as we know. While witnesses swore that Lizzie was indeed wearing blue that day, none could swear that this dress was the one she had been seen in. To confound the problem, Alice Russell, her neighbor and once her friend, we'll see they're no longer friends, reluctantly admitted that she had seen Lizzie burn a blue cotton dress in the kitchen stove 3 days after the murders.
Because she didn't like it.
No, it's okay. It was just soiled. It had brown paint on it, a.k.a. the color of dried blood.
Her monthlies.
It was her monthlies. She didn't have a rag.
They didn't have those then. What are you supposed to do? Yeah, drip dry.
Free bleeding. I also want to mention, that's disgusting. If you do that, get a grip. She
had a drip dry.
It's so gross. I also want to mention really quickly that it said that she was also prescribed regular doses of morphine to calm her nerves during this. And they claim that it's possible that her testimony was affected by this because, let's be honest, she was drugged up. Her behavior was erratic at times, and she often refused to answer a question, even if the answer would have been beneficial to her. So Lizzie was not even mentally present, it sounds like. But one of the most interesting things, and this is actually kind of funny. I'm not funny, but you know what I mean. Immediately.
Not funny, haha.
Yeah, kind of. Mm-hmm. So in the immediate aftermath and during the trials, one of the biggest things people were talking about is what Lizzie was wearing. Because in those days, it was tradition to dress in mourning clothes for a full year after somebody died. But Lizzie wasn't, she didn't want to. She was living her life at that point and didn't care to do that. So when Andrew and Abby's funeral was held just days after the murders, Lizzie, she did wear a black dress and a somber bonnet, but the gown was described as lacy, which for that point in time was pretty salacious. Then her lead attorney, former governor George Dexter Robinson, would beseech Lizzie to look more grief-stricken and asked her to wear black every day at court. She did buy new black dresses, but she liked to top them off with some color. So in one of them, for example, she topped one black hat off with cherry red berries and a little ribbon. So, which was not, you were supposed to be fully in black, probably with a veil and just sobbing. You were supposed to have a case of the vapors. She was not vaping. Regardless of dress, the trial received significant press attention nationwide, including a 3-page article in the Boston Globe, and it became known as the Trial of the Century, which began on June 5th, 1893 in New Bedford. Something else I did not know about this case: another axe murder occurred in Fall River on June 1st, 5 days before the Borden's trial began. This time, the victim was Bertha Manchester, who was found hacked to death in her kitchen. The similarities between the Manchester and Borden murders were striking and noted by jurors. But Jose Correa de Mello, I think, was convicted of Manchester's murder in 1894. However, it was determined not to have been in the vicinity of Fall River. He was determined not to have been around Fall River at the time of the Borden's murders. So a prominent point of discussion in the trial and press coverage was the hatchet head found in the basement, which was not convincingly demonstrated by the prosecution to be the murder weapon. Prosecutors argued that the killer had removed the handle because it would have been covered in blood, and one officer testified that a hatchet handle was found near the hatchet head, but another officer contradicted this. Again, nobody knows what's going on. And also, no bloody clothing was found at the scene. But again, like we said, Alice Russell saw her burning a dress with something brown on it 3 days after the murders. Then, this is so gross, both victims' heads had been completely removed during autopsy, and they were boiled so that the skulls could be admitted as evidence and you could actually see the full wounds during the trial. Apparently, upon seeing them in the courtroom, Lizzie fainted. So then, moving past the trial, again, we're going to really dig into the transcripts and the evidence later. But after just 1 hour of deliberation, the jury returned. The New York Times reported that Lizzie's face became livid. Her lips were compressed as she tottered to her feet to hear the verdict. Before the clerk could finish asking for it, the foreman cried, "Not guilty," and Lizzie dropped to her seat as an enormous cheer went up from the spectators who climbed onto the benches waving hats and handkerchiefs and weeping. It's rumored, allegedly, you could hear the cheers from spectators up to a half-mile down the road.
Wow.
People, because there was a whole crowd outside the courtroom too, like people were losing their minds. Upon exiting the courthouse, she told reporters that she was, quote, "the happiest woman in the world." Okay, Lizzie.
Calm down, sister. Didn't just lose your dad.
Yeah. This is still not a good situation. So, It would have been difficult for any jury to convict beyond all reasonable doubt on the circumstantial evidence presented. However, in the nearby bar to which the jurors dashed, a reporter learned that there had been no debate at all among the 12. All exhibits were ignored, and their vote had been immediate and unanimous. It was only to avoid the impression that their minds had been made up in advance that they sat and chatted for an hour before returning with their verdict.
Well, there's no way that a little girl could do this. That type of impact to a skull.
Maybe. There's also, and we'll dig into it later, but I've also heard stuff about the ceilings were lower in the houses back in the day, and for a girl of Lizzie's stature, in order to make that impact, she would have had to raise it so high with so much force that there would have been marks in the ceiling. Like, she would have had to raise it back so far to get that force, which is interesting. So we're going to look into both sides, which I'm super excited for. So after the trial, the Borden sisters moved into essentially it was a McMansion in the Hill neighborhood in Fall River. Around this time, Lizzie began using the name Lizbeth Borden because she did not want to be out in public associated with it anymore.
She's matured.
She's grown. At their new house, which Lizbeth dubbed Maplecroft, they had a staff that included live-in maids, a housekeeper, and a coachman. Because Abby was ruled to have died before Andrew, because Abby's blood was already like coagulating and drying when they found her. When they found Andrew, he was still actively bleeding.
Oh, geez.
Like, it had just happened. So that's how they figured it out.
She obviously wouldn't have had enough time to change.
But because of that, all of Abby's estate went to Andrew. Therefore, all of Andrew's estate went to his daughters. So that could have been intentional. Who knows? Who knows? Just a thought. So a considerable settlement, however, was paid to settle claims by Abby's family. They were not very happy about it. So despite the acquittal, Lizzie was ostracized by the Fall River Society. While they rallied around her and supported her during the trial, it's believed that they didn't necessarily believe she was innocent. But because of her wealthy status, they wanted to protect one of their own publicly and say, oh, no, a wealthy woman could never.
Ever.
Never. But when it came down to it and the eyes were off of them, they all turned on her. It's even said that the pews around her in church services were completely empty.
Dang.
People would not even sit by her in church.
She was shamed. They're supporting her and then they shame her.
Yeah, to protect themselves when the world's watching. And then nothing. However, this wasn't the last time Lizzie's name was brought up in the public eye. She was accused of shoplifting in Providence, Rhode Island in 1897. Then in 1905, shortly after an argument over a party that Lizbeth had given for actress Nance O'Neill, whom she'd grown close to in recent years, Emma moved out of the house quietly, and the sisters never saw each other again.
Wow.
Never, ever. That was just like the end of their relationship.
Wow.
Which, after going through all of that, and they say Emma was by her side through everything.
That would have been like a bonding.
You would think that'd be one hell of a trauma bond. But who knows? Maybe Emma knew some shit. Who knows? So, following the removal of her gallbladder, Lizzie was ill in the last year of her life. At age 66, she died of pneumonia on June 1st, 1927 in Fall River. Funeral details were not published and few attended. Emma died 9 days later. 9
Holy cow.
days. At a and I'm assuming, because neither of them were social at that point, they were both spinsters, basically hermits. So I doubt Emma even knew Lizzie had died 9 days before.
No, probably not.
That's crazy. But she died at a nursing home in Newmarket, New Hampshire, and she was 76 years old.
Unless word got to her. I mean,
Unless what?
Unless word got to her. I mean, technology was a little bit different then. Like they had...
Yeah, 1927.
Yeah, so they had services, but...
So she had been suffering from a chronic kidney disease. And both lifelong spinsters... When I was reading this and they reminded me, oh yeah, she was 32 and a spinster. I'm like, oh shit.
Lucy, you got some splaining to do.
That hurt. So,
really?
Lizzie and Emma were buried side by side in the family plot. Yeah, the family plot. So beside Andrew and Abby at Oak Grove Cemetery in Fall River. At the time of her death, Lizzie was worth over $250,000, equivalent to over $6 million as of 2024.
Shit.
She owned a house on the corner of French Street and Belmont Street, several office buildings, shares in several utilities, 2 cars, and a large amount of jewelry.
And had nobody to leave it to.
Well, actually, that's my next note.
Oh, sorry.
I'm very impressed with what she did with her money. Not having children or like a spouse or anything.
Right.
So Lizzie was a huge animal lover.
Okay.
Loved animals. So she left $30,000, which today is equivalent to about $729,000 to the Fall River Animal Rescue League. She left $500, equivalent to $12,000, in a trust for perpetual care of her father's grave. And her closest friend and a cousin each received $6,000, which today is around $146,000. So,
all right,
keep me in mind for your will is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Okay. So, just numerous friends and family members each received between $1,000 and $5,000. Today, that's between $24,000 and $121,000.
I could have been her friend.
You could have hung out with Lizzie.
I could have been her friend.
Yeah. We would have made it work.
Well, I'm finding dresses with her.
Back in the day, we could have made it happen.
I mean, she totally could have been one of us.
Yeah.
We're groupies.
We're groupies.
Well, we're homies. We're homies.
We're homies. So that is all we've got for part 1 on more of a brief discussion today. But next week, we're going to jump into theories about the why, the how, the what. We're also going to talk about from what I can tell, a slew of other suspects because they had quite a list. And then the hauntings of the house today because it is obviously haunted.
I'm crazy excited.
Like I mentioned in the beginning, I'm so overwhelmed by this because there's so much information. So it's stressed me out so much. And I feel like I can't do this justice.
This was great.
So I'm like, here's what we have for now. I'm going to start getting books and probably read them and put something crazy together over like months' time and come back and really dive into it. Because I want to read the court transcripts. I want to look at other photos. Like, I really want to dig into this.
Deep diving.
I also want to figure out where the hell I stand. Because like
I'm conflicted now at this point. I'm on her side, but I'm my needle's moving. Like I'm conflicted a little.
Yeah. Like I've read articles and I've heard podcasts where it's like, absolutely Lizzie did it. And where they're like, look at these other people in these situations. And you start hearing the evidence and you're like, wait a minute. Because there's nothing beyond circumstance that says she could have done it. There really is not. So the possibilities are wild. So I'm excited to dig into it. But if you guys liked it, come back next week. Should be next week as long as everything goes well. For part 2, where we dig into all of that. And also join us on Patreon. We have another bonus episode coming out any day now, as soon as I finish editing that. Oops. Follow us on social media. We're literally everywhere. If you want to reach out to us, go to email us at hauntedthroughtheages@gmail.com. And we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.